Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Rotoballer Radio Waiver Wire Series. I'm your host, Anthony Aniano. Happy to be with you here as we take a look at the waiver wire for Week 8 at the wide receiver position. All right, guys, don't forget, head over to rotoballer.com. Check out everything we have there. Main page, premium package, expert chats. Sign up for any premium pass. Use the promo code ACES and save yourself an additional 10%. All right. We've survived the bye weeks of Week 7. Hopefully, we're standing tall or we're looking to rebound. And thankfully, the Week 8 buys are treating us much nicer. No Raiders and no Baltimore Ravens. So you're missing Marquise Brown at the wide receiver position. You're missing Henry Ruggs, Henry Renfro, maybe Brian Edwards. But all in all, pretty steady at the wide receiver position. But this week, there's still a few players we want to look at, add some bench depth. Maybe some wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 additions. And number 1 at the list at the wide receiver position is Allen Lazard of the Green Bay Packers. Fun game coming up Week 8 in Arizona, which would be a high-scoring affair. Allen Lazard only 4% rostered, 5 receptions, 60 yards, a touchdown in Week 7 on 6 targets, 17 fantasy points. Lazard now with 11 or more fantasy points in his last 2 games as teams focus on Devonta Adams with MVS out. Allen Lazard establishing himself more and more as Aaron Rodgers wide receiver 2. At number 2, it's more of a long-term play, but everybody talks about him in the fantasy community. Got to mention Rashad Bateman. On a bye this week, so maybe you get him for a little bit less off the waiver wire, but he does go 3 catches, 80 yards, 11 fantasy points. He's got 12 targets over his last 2 games, 6 each, including the 6, like I mentioned, in Week 7. He's 32% rostered. Coming back from injury now, he's played, I think it's 2 games, continuing to be more and more involved. Should be the wide receiver 2 at the least for this Ravens offense, opposite Brown, and then obviously Mark Andrews at the tight end position. Won't help you this week, but as a long-term stash, he's a terrific play off the waiver wire. At number 3, another young wide receiver, Van Jefferson of the Rams. I've been hyping the Arizona Cardinal wide receivers, Christian Kirk, their secondary wide receivers, Kirk, A.J. Green, Rondell Moore, as all being productive pieces in fantasy, even though they're not the clear one. That you're able to do on a high-powered offense, along with Arizona, is that Ram offense. Listen, Cooper Kupp is the first option. Robert Woods is the second. But right now, Van Jefferson is the third option. And in the upcoming schedule, the Rams are on the road in Houston next, and then face the Tennessee secondary. Granted, they shut down the Chiefs, but overall, big picture for the year, the Tennessee secondary has not been good. Van Jefferson, 9% rostered. He goes 4 for 43 on 7 targets in Week 7, including a touchdown, 14.3 fantasy points. I had him in spots as a bye-week fill-in, not dropping him after that performance. I'll keep him and see how the rest of the season emerges. At number 4, Darius Slayton of the New York Giants, and it's more of an issue of attrition there in the Giants wide receiver core. Darius Slayton, only 15% rostered, goes 5 for 63 on 9 targets, 11.3 fantasy points. Okay, partly because Kenny Golladay was out, Kadarius Toney was out, and then Sterling Shepard, who I hyped on the same show last week, then re-aggravates the hamstring during practice, and he does not play. Darius Slayton, depending on how it all shakes out for the Giants' injured wide receiver core, can still be Daniel Jones' number 1 option. Can they play Kansas City? I know Kansas City looked terrible, and I know Patrick Mahomes looked concussed, but they say he passed the concussion test. Nonetheless, I fully expect the Giants to be playing from behind, and in that case, if Darius Slayton is the number 1 option, to put up some targets and receptions. In 3 games where Darius Slayton has been healthy, he has been targeted 22 times. Number 5, and he would have been higher, except if you watched the Detroit Lions game, you saw Khalif Raymond with less than a minute left grab his hamstring and hobble off the field. Okay, so Khalif Raymond is my number 5 wide receiver to add of the week, but it comes with a gigantic asterisk. As we get more on the injury situation, he may become person non grata here for your waiver wire. But 6 receptions, 115 yards on 8 targets, 17.6. He actually had 1 rushing yard for the Lions. He faces Philadelphia next week, who got chewed up by the Las Vegas Raiders offense. He's got 6 or more targets in 4 out of 5 games, okay? And in his last 2, 11 receptions on 14 targets. If the injury report comes back good, Khalif Raymond can move up in my top 5 for this week. But right now, because of the uncertainty of where he will be a week from now, Khalif Raymond is nothing more than a $1 bid in my 5th out of 5 wide receivers to add this week. All right, everybody, give me a follow on Twitter at Aniano Fantasy. If you have any questions about this, hit me up there. Okay, just in recap, it's Lazard 1, Bateman 2, Van Jefferson 3, Slayton 4, and Khalif Raymond number 5. Okay, folks, head over to Rotoballer. Stay smart, stay safe. We'll see you next time. Have a good one, folks.